A seed the size of a grain of rice will outlive you, your children, and their children, and it doesn't even know it yet. Somewhere in the Sierra Nevada mountains of California, in the soft soil of a forest floor, a single sequoia seed lies dormant. It weighs almost nothing less than a paperclip. Around it, the world moves in rhythms it cannot feel. Wind through the canopy above, the slow decomposition of ancient bark, the footsteps of animals passing in the night. The seed knows nothing of what it will become. For the seed to wake, it needs something most plants never experience: fire. Not the kind that destroys, but the kind that clears. A sequoia seed requires heat, intense, specific heat, to crack open. It's a waiting game that can last decades. The seed might lie in darkness for 50 years, 100 years, simply waiting for the moment when lightning strikes and the forest burns. And then, one year, let's say it's late August, the conditions align. A fire sweeps through the grove. The heat reaches the seed's protective cone. The seed doesn't understand danger. It only responds to a signal it's been encoded to recognize across millennia, the signal that says, now is the time. The cone opens. The seed begins to germinate, but germination is fragile. The seedling needs ash-covered soil, rich with minerals, free of competing plants. It needs moisture from melting snow or spring rain. It needs light filtering through the newly opened canopy. Too much shade and it will wither. Too much drought and it will die before it's taller than your thumb. The first year is not a beginning. It's a gauntlet. If the seedling survives that first year, it has accomplished something most seeds never do. But it has not yet begun to grow. For the next 10 years, the young sequoia will add only a few inches each season. It will be invisible beneath the understory, dwarfed by shrubs and fallen logs. To a human observer, nothing remarkable is happening. And yet, every ring in its trunk is a year of survival against impossible odds. Around year 15, something shifts. The young tree has grown tall enough to catch more sunlight. Its root system has deepened and spread. Growth accelerates. What took 10 years to accomplish, a few feet of height, now happens in 5. The tree is still small by any human measure, but it's no longer fighting just to exist. It's beginning to thrive. A century passes. The tree is now 200 feet tall, taller than the Statue of Liberty, and as thick as a house. Storms have bent its crown. Fires have scarred its bark. Insects have tunneled through its wood, and yet it stands. Each scar is a story the tree will carry for the next 1,000 years, written in wood and ash. By year 500, the sequoia has become something that transcends the individual. It's a living monument, a presence that shapes the entire forest around it. Smaller trees cluster at its base for shelter. Birds nest in cavities carved by woodpeckers. Fungi spread through its roots, connecting it to the mycelial network of the forest, a living internet of nutrients and signals it shares with hundreds of other trees. At 1,000 years old, the tree has witnessed the rise and fall of human civilizations. It was already ancient when the Roman Empire fell. It was already ancient when Columbus sailed across the Atlantic. And it will be ancient still when the people reading these words have long since turned to dust. The sequoia doesn't measure time the way we do. For the sequoia, 1,000 years is simply a long afternoon, and still the tree grows. At 1,500 years, it's wider than a school bus is long. Its bark is thicker than a person is tall. Fire has hollowed sections of its interior, yet it continues to draw water up from the earth and convert sunlight into wood. It's not just alive, it's thriving, still adding rings, still reaching skyward, still participating in the slow, patient work of being alive. The journey from seed to giant takes longer than human history. It requires fire, water, light, time, and an almost incomprehensible patience. The seed that began in darkness, no larger than a grain of rice, has become something that will outlast everything we build, everything we write, everything we believe matters. And it all began with a single signal. The heat of a fire that said, now is the time. As you drift toward sleep tonight, consider what grows in the dark places you can't see. Consider what waits, patient and persistent, for conditions to be right. Consider what you might become if you simply endured, season after season, year after year, without rushing toward the end. The sequoia teaches us that the slowest growth is often the most profound. Subscribe for more journeys into